In this video, we're going to take a look at building a parametric family. So a family is a file that is outside of the Revit project. So it's going to be similar to, excuse me, the components or items that we load in from the Revit library. So to get started, I am going to first started a project here so that we can take a look at how we would load the family in later on. But first, my first step is going to be go up to the file here and then go to new. And I'm going to hover on that. If you click on that, it's automatically going to default into creating a new project. So I just want to hover on that for the options to pop up. And then I'm going to select family. I'm going to go ahead and select my template, English Imperial. And then I'm going to select my category of templates. So I'm going to go with furniture for this one. But you can see, all these different categories that we have. We should be familiar with these from the Revit library and also from our visibility graphics. So this category is going to determine what category the family is in and how that's going to respond with those visibility graphics and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and hit open here. And here we have, you can see now up here at the top, if I go to my drop down of my windows, you can see that I now have project 1 and then family 1. So defaulted to having 4 different views open. So I have my elevation, a 3D view, another elevation, and a floor plan. So the first thing we're going to do here is make a very simple cube, and then we're going to build a table in the next video. So to get started here, the important thing about this being parametric, what that means is that we are creating parameters that we can then apply attributes to in the project itself. So we're making it flexible. So a lot of the families that we have been working with are parametric. And that means, that you can edit things such as the length, the width, the height, or the material. So for this, we're just going to start with a cube. So I'm going to start from my create tab and I'm going to draw reference lines. Now these reference lines, sorry about that, we want reference plane, not reference line. These planes are just going to be similar to the 2 other green lines that we have here. These planes, once created, go off into the distance forever and ever. So it, you just want to draw it to the extent that you need to build your element. So and the point of these reference planes is that we need to create your reference planes, and then we're going to build a form, and we're going to lock the form to the reference planes, and then we're going to control the form from the reference planes and these dimensions. All right, and then we're going to apply parameters to the dimensions so that we're able to apply, control it parametrically. So I'm going to walk through our steps here. So first step, create reference planes. Second step is going to be to annotate these. So I'm going to go ahead and put parameters on here for the items that I want to be able to control in the project. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK there. The dimension of this, I'm going to put a parameter on it to be able to control it. So it doesn't matter a ton what that dimension is right now. So once I have that dimension placed, I'm going to select it. I'm going to go up here to the label and I'm going to give it a name. All right, I'm going to keep this as a type parameter. I'm going to say OK. So you can see I now have applied a parameter there. And I'm going to apply one here as well. So, all right, so now I have 2 parameters here. And now if I go up and look at my family types, you can see those parameters are already here and are created. So I can go ahead, if I were to change this, and this is in the project, or sorry, this is in the family. But if I were to change these right now, I hit apply, you can see that those are going to adjust accordingly. And that also is going to be the parameters you're able to edit in the project once we load it in. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and create my form. So I'm just going to do an extrusion here. And the important thing is that you're going to lock these lines to the reference plane. So each one, so I'm going to use my pick lines tool for that. It's going to make it really simple to do that. So I'm just going to click on it and I'm going to lock it. Click, lock, click, lock, click, lock. All right, so these all need to be just one continuous path. So I'm going to go ahead and trim these. All right, and then I'm going to finish the sketch. All right, now I have a form here. So now I've controlled it in the X and the Y. So let's take a look if I were to test this out. We'll see now when those parameters are changed that the form adjusts as well. Take a look at it in 3D. All right, we just have a simple form here. All right, so we've taken care of it for the X and the Y. Now I want to go to an elevation. Any one will do, and add a plane in the elevation. All right, so this taking care of the height is taking care of the Z. So we have our X, Y, and Z. All right, so same process. I'm going to draw the reference line plane. I'm going to control it with a dimension here. I'm going to put a parameter on that dimension. I'm going to say OK. Now my third step, I've already created the form, but I need to lock it to that reference plane. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to pull this top arrow here. I'm going to lock it. Okay, so it's going to kind of jump to it, and then I'm going to lock it. All right, so now if I were to change any of those parameters, switch that to an inline instead of wireframe there. But if I was going to change that height, it's now going to adjust accordingly. Okay, so last one here. I'm going to get my properties back. There we go. I'm going to apply a material parameter. So I'm going to come over here to my properties, go to material. And then I could apply something directly, but that means I'm not going to be able to edit it when I load it into the project. So I'm going to just do simple material parameter. I'm going to say OK. All right, then I want to make sure I do a save as, so it's not just family one. So make sure you do a save as and save this file. I'm just going to load it in as family one for right now, but you want to make sure you save it. Maybe call it cube, side table, whatever it might be. I'm going to load it into my project here, and it's going to prompt me to save changes anyway, so that's fine. We'll just save it there. All right, so I load it into my project. Now I have my family one. All right, so remember that those are type parameters that we created here. So if I wanted to make a new type, I can duplicate this. And then I can adjust these parameters for different types within the project. Okay, so that one's still a family one. Now I have my type 2. Excuse me. Let's see, we have type 3 here. Okay, so then you can create all these different types now that we've made those parameters. And you can also apply materials since we made that a parameter. How about my material parameter? Well, that should be there. Let's check. Oh, okay. So I'll go ahead and, oh, I needed to create it. Whoops. I was searching for it. We need to go down here and create it. And now I can assign it. There we go. So I'll just load that back in. Yes, I'm going to save the changes and overwrite it. So I'll overwrite that family here. So we can always go back. You can always go back and edit and fix stuff. Just like that. We'll just throw a material on here. Let's take a look. Maybe it needs to be realistic. But each one then you can assign different information for each parameter that we built in here. All right, so that's how you would make a parametric cube.